And Derek,
really
great
well done
job
by
moving
Derek.
there. Oh, what a bib snipe!
And Russo gets backed out of the cut.
No way! No way! No way!
All right, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? How are you all doing today? We have got ourselves a special one. It is going to be the very first cast of the MKPS Season 2. Baby, I'm excited. How are you feeling, Zexous?
I'm doing great. Doing good. Feeling good on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. It's not really too great for weather-wise out in Canada, but we have a heck of a match for everyone today.
Oh, it's gorgeous out here in SoCal.
Anyways, going in with these winners finals coming out here. JX against Superbia. This is a match I've been interested to see, honestly.
Same here. Unfortunately, we don't have a JX logo. They never submitted one, so we're just gonna roll with the punches here, and we're just gonna go with a giant JX freaking text, and we'll go with it.
Yeah, that sounds great. And I guess I'm not sure where these guys are in terms of where the room is. I don't think
It's
they
not up
were.
yet.
It's not up yet. Anyways, we'll talk about we'll just talk about the tournament that's kind of passed. How these two teams really got here. So it looks like JX had a bit of a ride, so they got a bye in the round 2, and then they met up with UC and completely wiped the floor with them with a 451 to 281, beating Metro Wipeout 2 in round 3 and beating them by 110, going into round 4 and just barely skating away from Metro Wipeout 1 by 4 points to end up against Superbia.
That was a good match, honestly. I wish we could have casted that one. But yeah, JX has had a great run so far, and JX is kind of consisted of Ethereal and Kentolic Gaming, kind of that combination. I'm pulling up the starting lineup here. You got Frozen, Jeff, Mura, Sean, and Russo bagging, which I find very interesting. It's kind of a mix, right? And you have Russo bagging, which I find fairly interesting, and I'm not sure how much he's grinded in the bagging department, but running wise, arguably the best starting four in the entire game.
Let's talk a little bit about SC and their ride to the finals as well.
Certainly.
They got a bye in the round 2. They take their first match into Avail, and a pretty convincing win, 50+ against Avail. So a very strong start for the SE boys. Going into round 3, another insanely convincing win against Velicor for 452 to 280, completely smashing them into the dust. Going into round 4, they met Apocalypse Emerald. A pretty close matchup, but they were able to get away with a little bit over a 30+ win. And going into round 5, they are meeting JX. Probably the undisputed tyrants of this tournament. So first seed against second seed meeting in the finals. It's going to be an interesting one to see, and I don't know, what do you think is going to happen in this one?
I feel like Superbia are the dark horse of this entire tournament. If we look at the lineup, Mac, Revan, Sean, Vincent, Orange, that's a decent lineup to take on anybody. While it's not super flashy, I must say, like you don't have players like Jeff, who arguably is the GOAT. You could also argue that maybe Xander could be the GOAT, but JX has these players that really stick out, like Jeff, Frozen, Mura, household names. For Superbia, obviously people know who these players are too. These guys are also notable players, but they're not household names per se, but all of them can run decently, and I feel like they're gonna at least give JX a hard time. As if I were to go as far as to say they'll beat JX, it'll be a tough task, certainly, but I do think that they're more than capable of at least keeping it close against JX, maybe even pulling off an upset.
Definitely. Something I want to highlight though, Russo bagging. Let's talk about that for a second, okay? What do we know about Russo bagging? Because I have not seen him do
I personally
at all.
don't know either. I don't really think it's like a bad move. because I know Russo is the kind of player where if you tell him to do something, he's gonna do it, and he's a fast learner. He's on the fly. He's gonna be able to learn whatever he needs to learn for his team, and he's a talented player all around. But in terms of the bagging, I'm not sure. I haven't seen him bagging that often, but I find it interesting that they put him to bag instead of someone like Frozen, who's more accomplished. But at the same time, that just speaks volumes about how important Frozen is for this side in the running department.
Definitely. And also talking about Superbia, we see Orange bagging and Mac is running. Something we haven't seen in quite a while coming out here.
Yeah, so. Also notable thing to point out too, JX has Jazz in their roster, and they're not having him bag, so it could... Honestly, I think it's just a case of him not being able to play, because if he were able to play, I'm sure they would they would put him in, because he is arguably the best bagger in the game right now.
100%. If you have Jazz, I feel like you're going to want to use him 10 out of 10 times. I don't even think it's debatable at this point. Jazz has been strong these last few years and has really shown that he is one of the best to ever hit bagging right now. You know, coming off, he had a strong run coming with a PT. We saw him bag for Ethereal a little bit. He had a stellar performance last year's World Cup, so he's definitely proven he's able to bag with the big boys and really able to pump out those shocks, you know?
He's a little bit more accomplished than Russo. He's been bagging not since the dawn of time per se, but he's been bagging for at least a year now. I bagged him against him a couple of times when Mo would play AV, or maybe a couple other teams that Orange was in, and he's not a bad bagger at all. And I feel like Orange would certainly get the upper hand over Russo if you're just talking about experience, because Russo has just recently picked it up. If I'm not mistaken, I don't want to give any false information, but I haven't seen Russo bagging per se.
I haven't at all, and then, you know, going back, I've played with Orange quite a bit, going back, you know, years and years ago. He was a pretty solid runner back then, and that was also when he was starting to learn bagging. So he's definitely been a solid bagger, definitely proved himself in his time in the Vale. Coming over to Superbia, I look to see nothing different from Orange. You know, he's pretty solid, he's pretty consistent from what I'm seeing, and it's going to be a real trial of tribulations going into this finals match, seeing what he can do back there against JX.
Yeah, and shall we get into the notable players, the players to look at? In terms of notable players, I feel like for me, the notable player here would actually be a tie between Sean and Vincent. These two players are really strong runners, but they're not the most consistent in my opinion. I feel like if we're talking about consistency in the running department, JX has that in abundance. All four of these runners are going to be up there at any given moment. And the likes of Sean and Vincent, they also are strong runners lines-wise, but they tend to make mistakes every now and again. So I feel like one of the keys for Superbia to win is to try to contest those top spots as much as possible without flubbing. And I feel like those two players are going to be ones to look at.
So I'm gonna throw a little shot in the dark here. Sean, Vincent, fantastic runners. They're definitely known for their running prowess, but I'm gonna toss some credits to Revan. I think Revan has been, you know, he's been grinding hard these last few months. He's been really hitting the TTs. He's been, you know, doing a butt ton of wars. He's really been, you know, bringing in that experience, and I think he's just as valuable as Sean and Vincent. And not only that, I think Revan's an extremely smart pack player, and when he gets to the front, he can run just as well as those two.
Certainly, yeah. I remember playing against Revan a couple of times back when he was playing for L7, and he was one of their star players. And if I'm not mistaken, he's gotten better since then. And Revan has turned out to be a force. Certainly, ever since last year. I mean, last year he was right before he joined L7. No, he was a decent runner, but he wasn't anything spectacular. But he used that time in L7. He used that time in Summer Split mainly to really shine as a runner. And I feel like you are pretty on point right there if you're talking about players to look at. And in terms of predictions, I'm gonna go with JX by... Well, okay, if they use Russo, I'm going to say JX by 16. I feel like it's going to be close. But if they use Jazz, I feel like it's going to be a little bit closer towards the 30 range. I'll say 38.
Definitely. I'm gonna take a gamble as well. I think it's gonna be a little bit over 30. I think we're gonna go with a plus 34.
Okay.
Actually, let's just take a look at JX quickly. Let's take a look at their lineup and give our predictions on that.
I mean, I just think they're really strong all around.
Oh, definitely. All around they're a well-kitted team, but you can have the best team imaginable, and you can still find ways to find weaknesses to really push yourself through.
Yeah, I mean, anything can happen here. It's Mario Kart, and Superbia, like I said before, I feel like are the dark horse of this entire tournament, so never count them out in any circumstance. As for the room situation, we've got Tedden, and we're just waiting for maybe somebody to finish their smoke break, potentially, or something like that. Okay, here we go. We're starting up, boys. First game of the season. I'm stoked. And we got a heart rate monitor. That's exciting to see. That gives a little bit more of a perspective on how difficult it can be as a player, as a competitive Mario Kart Wii player. Because some people, I'm not saying that people think it's easy, but there are certain situations where you're, let's say, in second and you're right behind first, and it's like a 50-50 exchange, and it's the last race with you have a 4-point deficit, and you're going in the last turn in RBC, and the heart rate's pumping, and it can be really nerve-wracking, even for the top players out there. But yeah, BC Week coming out here right away for JX, and Coop Cape coming out for SC. I think JX are hosting, if I'm not mistaken. And for this race, I'm just gonna have Frozen. Sorry for cutting you off. Just Frozen for this race. And then I'll set up max POV after the second race commences. Okay.
So just quickly, I did tag you, but can you screen share so I can see what's going on?
Yes. Yes, I may.
Try not to be 30 seconds behind the cast.
Yeah, you're chilling. All right, here we go. JX versus. Oh wait, is this the right? Got it?
Yeah.
All right. And we got some buffering on Frozen stream, unfortunately, to start off. That's not what you want to see.
Well, from what I can tell, he's at least first with triple reds and fifth.
Nobody pulled shrooms early. It doesn't look like. Okay, he pulls reds.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, Mac was golden and he ends up redding Mac in the cut. Here we go. And we're buffering again. Damn it, Frozen. Decrease your bit rate.
Okay. There we go. Trying to get red on Mac here. Coming in sixth right now. Does manage to connect with the red. Brings him in the fifth right now. Coming onto the end of the tunnel in Koopa Cape lap 1.
Neither bagger dropped stars here. I think Orange was trying to, but then the spots were really mixed, so he opted not to do it in the end.
Definitely. It gets a nice set of triple shrooms. A little bit of bumpage going on this set, though. Gets a box in fourth. It is going to find himself a mega.
This is a huge pull, but holding the mega here can be a little scary, because people can be shrooming up, and then they can pull a bomb and bomb you in a mid spot. This is going to be an interesting exchange here, but we do see Mura shrooming up and potentially redding Revan. No, it breaks on the wall there.
At the same time, though, he's not risking a whole lot with his team being top 2 right now. He doesn't have to do a whole lot to really do anything right now. He can opt to use it to Schlag, but
you could also argue he could use it in the waterfall here too, and maybe in Schlag a little bit and give his team a little bit of a top 3 break. We'll see what happens here.
It looks like he does opt to hold it, which is probably fine. Both baggers still neck and neck. Not too much movement coming back there. Is going to opt to chain it. Looking for maybe that tells them that they might think SE has it. Just chain triple shroom.
Doesn't look to me like it is. Usually, if you pull shock here, you don't want to bait because you're easily going to get starred here. You could run back to the waterfall and try to juke the other bagger, make him think that you were trying to get a 10th place box. But at this stage, if you go backwards, it's a bait attempt for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Finds triple reds, but Murray's in front of him, so he's going to opt to hold these for a little bit. Maybe trying to Schlag in the back. He's going to really just try and slow down as much as he can to try and make Vincent slow down.
I think he slow down for an 8th place box potentially, or maybe a 7th place box. Maybe he pulls the shrooms. Yes, he does.
Shock comes in anyway. But there's going to be a shock coming in.
Max
like
not,
SE
he's gonna get
coming up.
third. Yeah.
Not too bad for last second shock, and unfortunately, Frozen losing a golden right after that that last set, that could have really brought him somewhere. But unfortunately, shot coming in, and SE playing a little bit of damage control, so they can see what that shock really brought them.
Yeah, that shock was actually clutch towards the end. That was definitely pulled late, but it seemed to me like, yeah, it was top 2 for JX initially, but then one of them lost the top spot. I think it was maybe because of SE shrooming up in the middle of the pack in lap 3, and yeah, it's going to be a 2-3-4. A plus
Not too
34.
bad if you're SE. Also getting that 9th place with orange too, so SE really just coming out last second to, you know, make the difference there, and that's going to put them a little bit ahead going into the start of this match, going in the race too. So
Up 7.
props to SE, considering JX spent a good majority of that race occupying at least 3 of the top 5 spots.
All right, so I'm gonna get the audio set up here for the first race. I was just playing some Pokemon music in the background. So I'm gonna get the audio set up here for Frozen, and I'll have Max POV set up for you guys. So we'll have a dual POV. We'll switch between the two, not necessarily a dual POV, but yeah, I'll switch between the two POVs, whichever POV I deem necessary to show at the current time. I'll show. That's just the way we roll. RBC coming out here for SC. What do you think about that one?
Not too bad. You get the T3-4, so obviously they're gonna try and maybe look for their 4th place to draft first. Although the first does look to you know, go all the way over to the left, he can maybe try and look for any bumps. But I feel like if you're first, you just gotta just play the straight game and try and get to that first set without giving up too much. So going in, Frozen starting off, opts not to start with the wheelie, is going to look for a box here, and no box available, so he's going to just look to try and take the best lines he can, try and really make the difference here. He's going to find the red, and he's going to get combo redded too. Luckily, he did not get the TC off by his teammate though, so Frozen's still going to be in 8th though, and he's going to be looking for a dodge, maybe shrooms, possibly. Finds a set of triple shrooms in that set, and is going to just shroom away, trying to really find them soft.
I was switching over to Mac there really close. He was able to side swerve there and avoid Murr's Mega in the last second. Good reactions from Mac, but Frozen is also shrooming up to 5th. Unfortunately, Mac's not able to get the best of that exchange there, but Frozen gets backed on the spiral. Nicely done by, I couldn't see the name.
Not too bad. Frozen, and looking to try and get a box 8, doesn't actually quite get it, and gets a POW in 7th, so you might look for a target POW or even get a POW after set here. Mac getting triple shrooms in 5th, so finding his way up to 4th, hitting another set. POW coming in. He is going to have to use his blooper, unfortunately. But manages to skate by a couple of shells in the fib, so he's sitting in 4th right now. Right in front of him, it looks like JX occupying 2-3. Finds a TC in 4th, though. Not what he's looking for. Going to try and pass it to Sean. Is going to actually connect with him. And he's going to get bombed immediately after.
Murr got caught in it too. Sean takes the TC in the end. We are going to see Frozen holding a POW in 4th. I'm not sure how that's going to change the race around, assuming that is going to be JX. Who's in 1st? I know they're 2-3. Target POW attempt. Yeah, so it's going to be Sean in 1st there. So it's a 2-3-4 for JX and another TC, unfortunately, for JX. So it's not going to work out.
He's going to try and actually try to get the orange. A really good attempt, but just missing the mark just by a little bit. And Frozen going to have to take this TC, bring him back to the pack.
Ooh, Blue coming in here.
Looking at Matt. Blue coming in. Actually gets a golden in 5th, so he's really just going to spam what he can. Revan actually getting taken out. And Mac's just going to really try and see what he can do to try and get up to those top spots. Hitting another box here in 4th, getting a set of triple reds. Doesn't look like it's going to be able to do too much, as there's quite a bit of distance between him and Murrow, but maybe he might be able to chuck some with his grass and maybe find a connection. But hitting 4th.
Oh, I think Murr just sniped Sean out.
He does get a blue though.
Murr sniped Sean out somehow, whether it was a red. I did not see what exact item it was, but let's see what's going on here. There's a little bit of mid-pack exchange. There's a blue coming in.
Back at the 5-stone shot coming in though, and it's going to TS Frozen.
Mac gets combo redded twice.
Mac getting combo twice. Jeff uses the Mega. Sean's going up there too, but I don't know. That looked like quite a chain of events right there.
Yeah, I mean, it was certainly an SE shock. Tried to get 2 of JX, unfortunately only gets 1. Frozen just barely sneaking ahead of the ramp there, but Mac gets combo redded twice. Nice prediction coming in from JX, assuming that was a shock prediction, getting a couple reds off on Mac.
Yeah, definitely really good to nullify that damage after Mac comes out with the blue to try and get him in the first for the meantime. It looks great for Mac, but I don't know. It felt like that shock did more damage than good for SE, but I guess we'll see. Yeah, it looks like JX bringing it back with a 1-3-5-6.
Yeah, hectic ending there for sure. If I weren't hosting, I'd usually look back at the VOD to see like who got the better of the bagging battle and try to look at these little intricate details. But unfortunately, we don't have that luxury. But let me get the scores real quick. It's gonna be 26-35. In the meantime, what would you go here if you're JX?
You're JX, you're 1-3. I think you got prime time maple spots.
Ooh, yes.
But I guess
what about a
all,
counterplay for SE?
Counterplay for SE, 1-3-5-6. You're kind of mid spots, right? So like you can go something like I'm looking maybe towards a Delfino, maybe something that it's good for mixed spots. Look, they're looking at a Sherbet, which is completely fine as well. Sherbet's great for front and back runners because as much as it is front runnable, it's also a prime time catch-up track as well.
I'd say it's the most prominent catch-up track in the game, but only one stretch of that particular track, and that's gonna be the second turn where it's like a half U-turn sort of. If you golden up there, you're gonna shoot up because of the off-road stat being nullified. But other than that, it's a decent running track. There are a lot of tight corners inside that cave, and it's really hard to maneuver around them if you're going to try to avoid backspams and whatnot.
Definitely. I think it's a really great half and half track, and if you're SC, I think this is probably one of the best tracks you can pick for this. Mac getting his way in the second. Red going to go for Jeff, but Jeff going to be able to really just keep his protection, stay in first. Another red coming, but TC getting passed in the back, going towards Mac from Sean. Going to try and pass it back to Sean, but TC's going to connect just before he can take the pass off. And that's going to bring Mac back in the 8th. Going to look for a box in 8th here. Finds one and finds Shrooms. Looking towards Frozen. Frozen sitting in
Jeff
5th.
has somehow kept first throughout the entire race. He ended up running. And it seemed to me like SE didn't really get the better of the mid-spot items there with the Shrooms and whatnot. They couldn't catch up and break that first. So let's see if... nice lines here coming out from Frozen. He's got to be careful not to get wheelie bumped, though.
Definitely Frozen, also taking, the best lines he possibly can. Him coming up, but just a quick hop to the right, and Frozen is still fine. Blue coming out, though, for Jeff, so this could be not too great for JX. Jeff being taken out. Frozen just barely scaving away. Finds triple reds in second. He's going to be able to take out Revan. Sean coming out. He's going to try and get a slide on the other Sean.
Frozen.
And that's going to give Sean some breathing room. Third place, Mac, right here.
Frozen gets starred by Sean, though. It looks to me like Sean gets somebody else. I think, no, that was Frozen on Mac's POV. Slightly behind, but nicely done there from Sean.
Sean v. Sean in first place versus second place. And, Mac in third, which 2 Shrooms. You're actually sitting pretty nice if you're Mac right now.
This is a good sign, though, that JX may have it. I think Sean didn't want to opt for that shock prediction.
But Sean's getting his Nana, and that's going to bring Mac in the first.
That was a good snipe. I just saw that split second. That was a really good snipe. But Blue's going to be
Blue coming in. That's going to take out Mac.
Spots are really mixed now. It's really hard to say who's going to get the better of this.
Super mixed. It's all going to come down there. If there's a shock in play, Blooper going to be coming out for Mac, unfortunately. And Frozen going to look for maybe some snipes coming out for these triple greens, but... Mac going wide, opting to get a box here. Gets a Mega. He's going to want to spam this immediately. Ooh. Shot coming in. Pow coming in. Drop stop. And he's going to actually might be able to find second, but actually, maybe not. Sean just barely ahead. Vincent coming out too.
Yeah, Russo tried to drop a star for his team. I couldn't quite see who picked that up in the end, but yeah, it was... At first, Sean using that star in or late lap 2, I thought for sure that that it was a sign that Russo was going to get, and I think he was in 10th, but... Could have been a 9er, question mark. Don't quote me on it.
Yeah, I really have no idea. It looked like both the baggers for a while were pretty neck and neck. For lap 2, I saw Orange. I think he was in 10th by just a hair, using a star in like 10th, and almost actually nailed one of JX. But SE coming out strong with that race was a 1.345.
Yeah, and it looked to me like Vincent was in a star there, but his star was running out by the time the last turn came, so it wasn't. He didn't pick up that ground star in the end. I think maybe Russo picked it up and ran away from the pack, assuming that one of SC were approaching that star. But either way, that chalk was absolutely vital, dodging 2 of SC, one in the mid spot, you know, dodging Mac in the mega and dodging Vincent in the back. So a little bit fortunate there, assuming that was Russo in 10th. But it's gonna be a 27-point race for Superbia to take the lead once again.
Definitely, and that's definitely the bounce back race you're going to want to look for, especially against a team like JX, where these guys are so strong when they're ahead, right? So if you can really try and play the mental game and play the, well, you're down, what are you going to do? These players, they have extreme potential to make the catch up, but it'll make it even harder knowing that they don't have control of the match.
Interesting track pick coming out here. Parkway for JX, but they don't have a Daisy right now. Actually, they do have Sean. Wait, no, Sean is funky actually.
They do have Mura, so
yeah, they got Mura.
Mura and the Daisy. Pretty much no box coming out for Frozen, so he's going to be sitting in 5th right now. Probably going to play the sustained game, just wait until he can get something, and then wait to strike. He's going to find a box right here, and it's going to grant him some triple shrooms. He's going to get taken out by Revan with triple reds, though. Revan's also going to take out Sean. Revan is going on a complete spree right now with these reds, and Pro's going to look for a chain here. Finds another set.
Bit of a battle for 8th place. I was expecting that, but Mac does not want any part of that at the moment. It looks to me like, in terms of the bagging battle, it's going to be Orange winning out the... Actually, it's Orange, the Luigi. Didn't quite catch. He usually uses these weird characters, but no, he's going to be the Funky, so he is winning out in the bagging battle currently.
Okay. And Mac trying to golden up does manage to get a little bit slagged with those greens there, but is still going to find his way.
If Frozen can make these green snipes unpredictable, maybe throw one in the tight line, throw one in the wide line, maybe side green Sean, but he's not going to opt for that. I think it's a safe play, too, to keep these greens, because he doesn't want to be backspend at all.
That's just it. You want to be able to have that freedom to just take the tight lines that you can without having to worry about backspend. But it looks like he sniped the bagger.
Good snipe.
He's going to actually find another one, though. And there's a blue coming out on Vincent. This is going to completely take away that top
and the snipe attempt! Woo. I was close just a little bit early on that snipe attempt. Maybe could have backed, but I think JX was behind him, so he didn't want to opt for that.
Nah, definitely. Nothing too wrong with that. We're looking at Mac, though, having a nice star in 5th right now. The SC all around them. So if SC does have shock here, I think they're looking for a top 2 out of cannon, maybe get 3, 4, 5 in cannon if they don't stop.
This is a key exchange. This is a really key exchange because Sean maybe he may have a fib or something, but he's not pulling it out. No, he just had a nana, and I think he got a chain, so he may opt to back. Yes.
Oh, he's gonna get a back on.
Yep, he had more protection, so he had free reign to back there and allow Vincent to go wide. Good call there. Good.
He's gonna find a TC in 3rd though. If he doesn't pass this is not looking good for JX.
This is a very passable spot though. Very passable. Does get
actually does manage fine. Does get triple reds. Looking to cancel TC. Revan dodging a star in a mega actually. So
Sean's
this guy
take
actually looking good for
no,
SC.
second.
Mac coming out too is going to be able to pass Frozen up on this cut here, and it looks like all of JX is finishing further on the back, but Mac actually looking he got passed up on the line, but at least 2, 3 people, so...
Yeah, Sean did get first. At first I thought he got second, but that was the bagger that was right ahead of the line there. So yeah, he is going to overtake first there, and good work from Orange to be able to outbag Russo in that particular race. That shock was much needed.
Definitely, that shock is really coming in clutch, and the longer this match goes on, the more these shocks are really going to be make or breaking a lot of the races for these teams, because coming running prowess, it seems like JX would have the upper hand here, but SE is doing a great job at making sure they're not allowed to do the things that they usually do.
I wouldn't say that either team have really gotten the upper hand on paper, not counting the score. I think that it's been really back and forth, right? With RBC, spots changed hands several times, and with Parkway, spots changed hands a lot too. With SE occupying the top spots for the majority of that, we did see Frozen getting up there. We did see Frozen making a couple plays with snipes and with TC pass and whatnot in lap 3, but spots have changed hands, and it looked to me like Superbia has gotten the better edge of the shocks so far in this first GP. We are going to see BC3 coming out here for SE. Yes, it does pick BC3. I think we're going to be seeing Sean maybe going for the Ultra. I know he likes to go for it. Doesn't always make it, but he's always going to be adamant to try to go for that and break up the top spots or add on to the top spots. And we could maybe see Vincent going for it as well. So we'll see what happens in the first few seconds of this race. Maybe an 8th place battle? No. It looks to me like SE opt to all go forward. Maybe he's going to get the bill,
but he's going to be used. What a great play by Mac, honestly. Like, the whole... Like, obviously, that probably wasn't intentional to try and bait the bill out, but, like...
Yeah, wow. I think no, they were just going forward to try to pull shrooms and whatnot. They didn't want to wait for that 8th place box, and we've seen that on a couple of races where SE just did not want to play that game.
Definitely, but honestly, hats off to Mac though for playing that so well. Just in case he had that coming out, but Fro's gonna use the Mega negate a bomb.
The patience from this man.
He is not in any hurry to really get anywhere. He's really just trying to keep them back at this point with JX occupying, but a shock coming in. And it looks like, very early shock, but what you gotta do to really try and get up there to the best that you can. But
he got trolled by the bagger?
No, that was Orange. That was his own bagger.
Yeah, that was his own. Oh, no. I was gonna say Orange has a huge break in 10th, right? Because I think Russo failed to make the backward shot, was kind of struggling a little bit. So that shock was used early because they know they're gonna get a second one, at least if the bagging gods will allow them to get a second shock.
That was a prime time if I've ever seen one.
Frozen, he's gonna go for the shroomless holding blue. The balls on this man, but
he's getting a little bit bumped though. At this point, it's more. I don't know, but he does manage to make it, no sweat, and although he is going to be stuck all the way back there holding blue, which is unfortunate for Frozen, but if you're JX, I think you're okay with taking
this. This is a really good spot right now. Murrah is so far gone. I mean, we expected this from Murrah, right? In BC3 and BC Wii to go for those shortcuts to be able to cut off time. He is probably the best player, aside from maybe Nash, to go for those sort of shortcuts.
Definitely, and obviously when you spend so much time practicing, it's almost like second nature at this point.
The blue's really not going to affect anything.
No, not at all. Frozen being able to get back into it,
I'm surprised that SE didn't unblock the cut, because we saw Mac with the shroom there, and none of SE wanted to take the fall.
Mac managing to pass at the Revan taking the TC for his teammates.
Revan gets sniped out by Frozen as well afterwards. This is going to be a huge race for JX. But he doesn't get the good respawn.
Definitely not too bad of an attempt. Sean actually going to be able to pass him up on the line, which that race is probably going to just bring it back to a neck and neck game. That plus 20 is no more after that race.
Yeah, I saw Frozen hopping off for a split second there, but unfortunately it was a little bit too early on the trigger. So it's only going to be a top 3 for JX, but it's still going to be a strong race nonetheless. They played that race fairly well.
Yeah, just a very convincing top 3-9 race for JX. They just got to the front, and they did not leave. Yeah, JX just coming out strong on that race, and next thing you know, it's a fairly even game going back into the midway point of this match.
3-point lead here for JX, and if you're JX, on paper, I'd say BC Wii is the best option because top 3 you get to take all 3 of the boxes in the first set, and I do think they will opt to go for it because they do have Murrah, who is arguably the strongest player in the game in terms of glitch taking. Aside from Russo, who takes the left side glitch, that man is not human.
Yeah, I definitely think BC Wii is the play right now if you're JX. Honestly, I was going to also predict Peach Gardens if you're SE, though. You just need a full reset.
And yeah, they do opt to go for BC Wii. Peach Gardens, pretty good reset track, but it is going to be BC Wii to the detriment of Superbia.
Yeah, BC Wii coming out, and if you're SE, you need to do something fast to get up there and really try and break into that top 3.
I'm going to take a look at Mac. Mac is going to be a really important piece for this side to be able to try to break up the top spots. He's going to have to do whatever he can. He's not going to be able to get a box here, but he's going to maybe try to get a... Okay. Instant wide fib.
Though, and Revan is also going to actually hit that same fib.
That was a beautiful play. Usually people back the fib on landing kind of tight, but he opts to back that wide, predicting Mac to go wide there.
Definitely, and lo and behold, he also manages to catch Revan too, so he can get a 2-for-1 deal on 1 fib.
Yeah, Vincent is the only one up here for SC at the moment, and he's going to opt not to go for glitch. I don't think he is consistent with glitch, so he's just going to go wide. We are going to see Sean going for it as well. Let's see if he does make it in the end. Yes, he does.
Not too bad. And also you having Frozen sitting in 5th right now with this Mega, which, Frozen, I think you're pretty okay with this. But he's going to get pushed to the Fire Guys, where he's going to lose a ton of time off top. I'll use the Mega right away to just recover. And brings him back into 6th place, hitting a box here. And I might just to pull a blue shell.
And another huge break in the bagging department for Orange there. I think Russo might have failed. You know that spot where you get a lot of air time right before the fork in the road, like you release the mini turbo? I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I think he failed on that part. Not this part, but the part coming up right about now where Frozen is.
Ah, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I think that's where Russo failed. The blue's going to be coming out here. Pow in 3rd for Mac. I'm really interested to see how that's going to shake up the spots.
Definitely. If he uses it right, he might be able to get them right on that last turn. Looks like that's what he tries to do. Unfortunately, it's a little bit harder to target Pow Daisy versus your average Funky player with that tight drift being able to just nullify so much more damage than that Flame Runner.
And Jeff was able to come away unscathed in that POW as well, so it doesn't look to me like it did any damage. Frozen with triple shrooms, and actually only a single shroom in 4th at this rate. Sean trailing close behind.
Mac getting a turn with the blue shell. Blue's going to be
nice
sent
line
out.
from Frozen to be able to avoid that trail green.
Sean's going to have to be careful, though, with this this bomb that Frozen's carrying. And now he might be in a little bit more danger with a teammate near him. Opts to chuck it wide, but it is going to be a little bit of a dangerous spot to chuck that. Luckily, didn't clip anyone, so...
Yeah, he was able to thread the needle to throw it on that right behind Murrah to try to get Sean out, but it doesn't. Yeah, Sean with SHAW, not SHAU.
JX top 4 right now going into this last turn on this track, and looks like that's what it's going to be ending like. And this is where they're really going to be able to try and run away with these tracks. And Shock a little too late, and JX going to be able to end that one off with a convincing top 4 run on BCW. And yeah, not the race you're looking for if you're SE, and JX at this point are going to be able to take this and try and run with it as far as they can.
Certainly. And going forward, I feel like we're going to have to give one of the Seans a different alias, because I was like, Frozen's trying to snipe Sean out of first, but I was talking about SE Sean. So we'll go with that.
Sean with the U and Sean with the W.
Maybe you can just pronounce it Shaun.
Shaun.
And then, I don't know. Looking very solid. I mean, that GP2 so far has been played flawlessly for JX.
Yeah, they played that really solid, and it's no surprise how they just walk away with that one with a top 4-9 though, playing solid all together. I'm not too sure about the Shock though, because they might have just got that the last second and it was too little, too late to maybe make something out of it, or I'm not too sure. But Peach Garden's coming out here, which is the track you really want if you're SE.
Yeah, Sean getting that 8th place, or Sean UK getting that 8th place box. I think he might have pulled a golden. He's going to be able to maybe get up to 1st. No, I think he pulls triple shroom, so he's going to be holding on to it for lap 2. It looks to me like Russo commits first in the Orange commits first in the bagging department. Or no, it was Russo, but then he hits a chomp, so it's going to be Orange winning the backwards right now. I think Russo might have hit a 10th place box either accidentally or intentionally.
Yeah, SE being able to swap up the positions really nicely. They're following a top 3 right now. Matt gets an absolute money box with a shroom in 2nd, so he's going to be sitting pretty nice so far, and he's going to just be able to take this cut to overtake his own teammate again. The first SE.
Frozen's like, no. You're not gonna wait on the line. No. He gets Sean out with the red. Sean US out with the red.
Frozen just completely opts to take the cut without even knowing what item he had. So he obviously knew he was getting something to get for that cut. But
yeah, and Frozen opts not to hold on to that Mega, right? Because he was falling really far behind at that point. And I think you don't want to hold for a shock prediction falling this far behind. So I think Frozen just wants to break up some of those mid spots to try to change things up.
It's smart because a Mega Dodge can only take you so far, because after you dodge, you're just a normal Funky. You don't have anything extra going for you, so definitely a good play to opt to use it when...
And no star drops either from Russo, but he is right behind Orange. No, I think he tries to go for another box. I think, Orange is going to run away with the shock if he does have it.
Definitely. Max still sitting in first. Rose is going to try and do something to try and get him out of it. Fib coming. He is able to avoid his back spam. And there's going for a Fib slide. He's going to connect him back. But he is going to hit. There's a Fib going. Frozen going to connect to the hedge, though, so he's going to lose a little bit of time. Not going to be able to really take away first here. Looks like Sean US finds his way into first. Mega Dodge coming out for Mac, though.
Revan coming up as well. Revan's going to schlag. Doesn't connect on Mura, but still a good play.
Looks like we're getting a top 3 for SE, though.
I was waiting for that snipe from Frozen. I'm like, he's going to try to go for the snipe. He's going to go for the snipe. He goes for the snipe, but then the shot coming in with Orange winning out in the bagging battle. Another clutch shot coming in from Orange.
Holy cow, what a turn of events for Superbia. Coming out of that race with a top 3. That's going to nullify some of that damage, bringing them back close into this, though. And that was the track they needed.
The shock, man. The shock is very vital. And, the baggers don't get enough love in this game, but that is, honestly, it's like goalkeeping in soccer. It's the most important position. I mean, say what you want about bagging. It is a little luck-based at times. But typically, the better bagger will come out on top. And so far, I think Orange has gotten the better of Russo.
But just think about that. After Mac got sniped, he only had one box left, and he finds a Mega. Dodges back up and claims a top 3 spot. Holy cow!
Holy Toledo.
Seeing some Maple Treeway coming out from Superbia. But, interesting to see what we're going to see coming out from JX. Looking for a Delfino pick, actually. From what, I'll get a little bit of a mix from everyone. A little bit of Delfino, Coconut, Grumble. So.
Maple it is.
Maple Treeway is getting selected, getting locked in for Superbia, which isn't too bad, considering their top 3, maybe top 2 run it, and 3 hops in the cut. Or we'll see what they manage to do here with that, but.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if Frozen's going to be hopping in cut here. I mean, Frozen, yeah, he is an 8th, but we'll see. Yeah, he's going to be going for a box on the side.
Single shroom, okay, not too bad. Could be a little bit better, but could be a whole lot worse.
Yeah, Sean was able to take a really good lineup into first, and Mac tries to side green him. Kind of risky considering he could have hit Vincent there, but nothing comes of that.
He's going to get a draft up here too, so he's going to bring SE back into looks like a top 3 here. And Revan just sitting in first, not too bad. Looks like SE is all up here right now.
Jeff needs to make a play early because Maple Treeway, it's not necessarily a track in which you can break away and backspam in. You can backspam here, but players will usually avoid the backspam on the right boost panel. You can backspam on this turn right here as well as the...
Oh, but he broke it on nothing!
Nice red evasion. But you can also backspam... Okay, there's a shot coming in early.
Early shot coming in, though. That's going to really get them a little bit ahead of... cut them a little bit ahead of Frozen.
I was going to say you could back on the Jack here. You could also back on the Spiral coming up here. But other than that, there aren't really too many back spots in terms of, blind backspams.
That backspam and that line that he had to take was a little bit sketchy. But the Wiggler is actually going to just block
SE Wiggler. SE Wiggler.
SE Wiggler coming in hot for Superbia.
We're gonna be coming out. We're gonna be coming out with the obstacle aliases once again. We got AV Mole, CB Cow, and now SE Wiggler.
That's what it's all about. Frozen triple shrooms in 6th right now, and I'm wondering if there's gonna be a second shot coming out for SE because they were so able to just chuck away the first one. So let's see if they can get another one, or maybe JX can find something coming their way. Frozen about to enter in can. We'll see what happens, but. no shot coming
I
around.
think
So
Orange is just going to be content. Well, he does get a box here. He's going to be going backwards. Not sure if it's a bait attempt. If you are Orange here, I do think baiting is not a bad idea, considering that top two.
oh, but there's a blue coming up. But I'm not too sure how effective that's going to be with that with the break they have here.
Oh, this could be a little hectic.
He got. Oh, he actually manages to just scave away. So looks like Max is gonna keep in third for just a little bit. Oh no, Frozen. It's ahead of him. Being able to dodge the POW, and it looks like SD might be able to keep that top two though. That's what it's looking like. Red's coming out. Sean UK going into Mega, but doesn't look like anything else. Mac finds one of his own, but is gonna end up getting 6. So looking like a top 2-6 ending coming up for Superbia.
Certainly, and the first GP was, you know, fairly back and forth. This GP, it's JX running pretty well for the first 2 races, and then SE just getting the shocks in the last 2. And just, the shocks are the ultimate X factor so far for Superbia. Not saying that they're not running well, because they did contest with JX and GP1 in the running department, but this just goes to show that the shock is easily the most vital item in the game.
So TLDR, bagger diff.
Bagger diff, yeah. I was wondering how Russo was gonna do, and I actually couldn't catch. I'm not gonna go as far as to say that Russo got out bagged there, because I couldn't actually see the bagging battle. I was too focused on the runners. But
your prediction might actually come true, Jaggy. That's all I'm saying.
JX plus 16. I hope that comes to fruition. I wonder what they're going to opt to go for here, JX. Maybe to try to counterbalance the momentum from Superbia.
I'm wondering. It's at this point, I'm just not entirely sure what they're going to be looking for here. We've had a wide variety of tracks, honestly. So I'm interested to see what they're going to be looking for next.
And yeah, so let me look back at so Russo actually got the better of Orange in that race. That's why I didn't want to say like, oh, Russo got out bagged or anything. But to be fair, Russo did get the better of. Actually, no, sorry, I looked at the wrong part of the race. I looked at 40 seconds. Never mind. Orange did heavily outbag Russo in that particular race, and he did get the shock early on, used it early, right before Russo was able to get back and maybe star the shock out of him potentially. So nice work there from Orange. So far in this war, he's been showing out in the bagging.
I mean, as we predicted, right? And that's what I was saying before, is that Orange has honestly proved himself as a very solid bagger coming out, and it's showing very clear as day coming out with you know, obviously making a big difference and a big positive outcome in this +6 that Superbia has found over JX.
Yeah, and Frozen could have maybe drafted. Yeah, I think it would have been risky to try to draft and pass Mura, so he opts to slow down and backs that bomb onto Mac.
Another bomb coming out for Frozen, though. He's going to really drop that and find some more of them.
Orange commits first, and it looks to me like Russo isn't able to overtake. Usually, if 20, 21 seconds passes, you want to go backwards so that if you pull a star as a bagger, you're pretty much going to troll the other team if you use it. But it looks to me like Russo was able to stop star Orange in the bagging department and get a little bit of a lead, so good work from Russo there. He needs to do something to change this bag. He trolls Mac! He trolls Mac! Oh no! Just as I was saying. He was doing a good job. He trolls Mac as he was coming out of Ultra.
Absolutely brutal.
Not good. Not good at all.
Not good at all. Vincent getting TC'd, unfortunately, and Max back here in South going to look for something to maybe take the Ultra with. Finds triple shroom, so he can use that unless he's looking for something a little bit better.
I think he's going to chain here. I think you chain here.
Looks like the case. See if he's looking for that gold. Finds a single shroom, though.
Unlucky.
The green has gone too far.
Oh, Frozen doesn't get the low on the pillar. Doesn't affect him too much in the end, though. It's going to be a 1-3-4 still for JX.
Definitely.
Russo has it, though, and he's trying to avoid... he's trying to avoid Orange, maybe with a troll attempt.
Frozen sitting here in 7th, though. Might look for something here. Is going to hit a box. Finds a star, so this could be very promising.
This could be huge for JX. If they could get maybe like a 1-3-4-5 to try to nullify that troll, but...
Oh, he's going to get rid of green!
He's going to call Mac out, I think, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to be enough.
He might be... No, it doesn't look like it. Nope.
I think you should just. I think at that point, right? You know, SE were 5, 6, 7. I think you just dodge Mac. Not right away, but I think you dodge Mac as soon as JX's topmost run across is there, because I think Frozen was waiting for Mac to get out of his star, but at that point it was too late. That troll though.
That's all I'm saying though. But if JX finds a good race here, I mean, does the penalty mean that much? You know, finding a 1-3-4, so a -20, sure, it's detrimental, but if you find a race that pretty much cancels out the penalty, they find it's going to give them a little bit of a breather space, but not too much. You don't want to feel like you're too safe from JX, because that's almost where they almost want you at this point. Because next thing you know, they're going to pick a running track and try and blow you out of the water with it.
Yeah, you never want to get complacent against a team like JX. That's for sure. But I think SE has been doing a decent enough job to at least contest against JX. I think if shocks were not a thing, then we could see a different story. Maybe we could see a JX lead by a little bit. But Superbia are doing enough to contest the top spots and then use the shocks to their benefit so that they get, you know, top 2, top 3, rather than trying to catch up and maybe eke out like a +3, +5 race.
Definitely. But Moonview Highway being selected, and this is where it's going to get interesting.
Yes, and
with JX starting 1-3-4, so they are going to be getting a decent amount of those first 4 boxes. Sean is going to try and US should be able to try and find 1 to at least protect himself for the meantime, but the goal here is I think they just want to shroom off completely. Frozen just going through all the boxes he can, finds a box in 4th, going to find a single shroom, brings him in the 4th, and is just trying to navigate his way up into the top 4 spots. Looking over the Mac though, Mac finds his own gold of his own and tries to get up there as well.
Wasn't able to break the top spots, and Mac does unfortunately get flattened by the cars we switched over. I think he tried to hop away from some sort of obstacle, but he does get flattened in the end. It's going to be a top 2 for JX, with Russo winning out by quite a bit though. Russo has been stepping up in these last few races, barring the troll, of course.
Definitely, and like a track like this though, it's going to be scary if JX gets in the front, because they will not be going anywhere.
Yeah. If you're winning the bagging battle by this much, well, not anymore, because I think he pulled the bill, and now Orange is going to overtake, unless maybe Russo pulled a shock on one of the moving boxes. We'll see later on.
That's it, and but just a track like this where, like, you know, items like red shells are they just don't connect because of all the moving obstacles breaking them for you. A track like this is really hard to make up that difference, and JX shouldn't have any problems running away with it. Mac finds a star in 7th. If Orange does have shock, they can really do some damage with this on this.
They got to use it here though, because they could use it second set as well. But if they don't use it second set, it's essentially over. Because if you dodge after that, you're not really going to gain much out of it. Because there's a lot
Orange
of
was flattened, so it doesn't look like he has it at all.
Yeah, Sean shrooming up, and Frozen's going to slow down to red him.
He's going to try anyways. Tries to find the red. Does connect on Sean. And it's going to bring JX back to top 2, but looks like Murr has a TC in 3rd. Is going to get pulled all the way back, though, and JX might only be able to run away with this top 2.
Yeah, and no items, or maybe Jeff could back the bomb car. I don't think he has anything to do so. It's still going to be
with the power just coming in, too, he's going to be losing. It looks like SE going to be mainly playing damage control of that race. JX is going to find a bit of a lead. I don't think it's going to be anything substantial from what we saw after Murray taking that TC in 3rd. That would have shot him all the way back, especially on that particular section. He's not going to be finding anything to bring it back, unfortunately. But JX, I think, still finding a winning race with the top 2. And we'll see. Call me wrong. Top 2, 4, 7 coming up for JX. So they actually do find a strong race.
Desert Hills, very uncommon, very unorthodox track pick coming out here for SE, but that could be all the more reason to pick it. I mean, if you're comfortable with it, if you practice it in scrims, why not pick it? You don't see this too often, so teams sometimes, you know, at a high level like this, though, you know, these players will be able to adapt to tracks like this, but you know. Usually you see this in Mogies. You don't really see this in Wars too much. So we'll see how JX will adapt to this track pick.
They did go Desert Hills though, and this is really I don't know. This is almost like a jack of all trades kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Like this is hands down like running's a little sus here.
I said Sherbet Land was the prominent catch-up track, at least with one particular part of the track. No, if you're talking about with one part of the track, this is definitely it. I mean, you catch it, you gain so much ground from those hills. It's actually insane.
All I'm saying is, you chain a star to a golden last set, you dodge, it's
You're
free
gone.
real estate, baby. Backing up Frozen does try to hit a red shell, and I'm not too sure if it connects, unfortunately, but is going to sit back and aim.
Are we seeing an all one? No, because, well, no, I'm sorry, because Russo, it looked like he was running forward. That was a weird bagging exchange.
Definitely. It's a star changes up for a gold, and Frozen's going to really just try and hold on to this. Sean, actually, the opposite, just use it to try and catch up. Doesn't want to let them get too far away. But looks like Jeff's sitting in first right now.
Mm-hmm. And I think maybe Russo might have gone.
Coming,
I think Russo might have gone through the boxes right away and was able to get a huge lead, maybe getting a golden in 10th or something. But I'll look back at that later on. As for Mac's perspective, we do see him holding a star. The spots are fairly mixed up there, but you know, spots can change hands at any given moment.
Definitely. Mac needs to be a little bit careful too, because you don't want to dodge too far behind the pack, because you won't get your value out of your dodge if you're so far behind.
Someone lost first.
He
spun out partially. I think it might have been from a Nana. Whoever that was in first. I think that was Jeff in first, so Vincent's going to overtake a bomb snipe from Frozen, a little speculative, gets it off!
Coming in! Dodge coming from Sean UK! He's going to be able to just go, but Mac's also going to dodge as well. And that bomb snipe, holy crap!
I thought that might have been a bit speculative at first, but right on the money there from Frozen. That was beautiful.
Definitely. He just lined her up, shot her, and lo and behold, he gets what he was looking for.
Oh my god. We got a top two, 6-8. That's going to be
6-8-9 for
34,
JX.
34 to 27. Warriors Gold Mine is a decent option too.
Yeah, okay. I respect. I actually big fan of both these tracks. Honestly, they're both great for what both teams want to do. Yeah.
GCNMC for SE. They're confident, right? They're confident in Orange to be able to get these shocks. And he's been doing a good job of it. You know, Russo has had a couple of races where he's outbagged Orange, but, you know, the trust is there. The trust is there for SE.
Yeah, definitely. Going into supposed to be the last one, but Matt finding a golden fifth. Actually, really what he wanted.
He finds a golden.
Can't ask anything better. So gets a golden, and he's just gonna pound that away. So he's gonna find himself a little bit of a lead in first, chilling. And Frozen doing his schlagging thing, you know, taking out Sean, popping another one, getting Vincent. Another star coming out, gonna try and take out Vincent again. But looks like Vincent just barely skates away from that one.
Does Vincent have the bit? Well, you got started out regardless, but I did see Orange committing pretty early on, so I thought maybe it could have been a sign that Sean was holding a bill potentially. But either way, it's gonna be Orange winning out in the bagging battle by quite a substantial amount.
Yeah, Frozen just chilling in the back, wreaking complete havoc on SE. He's not playing the game where I need to be up at the front to run. He's just like, I need to make sure that they can't get past me and my team gets to run free.
And I like that Frozen is taking upon himself to do that. He's been doing that on a couple of races, making sure that JX maintain their frontal presence. Even with Mac in first, I mean, JX are still occupying a lot of the spots in the middle of the pack.
I should say this, Mac can be first all he wants, but if his team isn't up there with him, they're not going to need what they
Russo drops a star. Jeff dodged that shock as well. He did predict it. He's going to be going up. I'm not sure how far, all the way up to second, but it's not going to break first.
Mac's still chilling in first, but SE is going to need to act fast if they want to try and rebound off this. Vincent coming up, he is going to try and do what he can. Sean UK using a mega, trying to get Vince, but not close enough.
And JX comes out on top. You know, I was kind of scared a few times because even though Superbia kept it pretty competitive in the running department, there was still a bit of a gap present there. I still feel like JX should have done enough to win 9 times out of 10, but, you know, the bagging exchanges were fairly sketchy. Russo getting a troll off on Mac, as well as a couple of races, for example, Desert Hills going forward out of the blue, and Orange getting the lion's share of the shocks there, but it wasn't enough for Superbia in the end. JX are going to run away with the victory, and they will be advancing to the grand finals of MKPS tournament number 1.
Good games, both teams. It was quite the match for both of them. Very, very back and forth, a very close match for all the way through. And there was a lot of, you know, great plays that we saw coming from both sides of the team. So, very, very.
I mean,
a very good match from
JX really did play well. I mean, there were certain races that they ended up playing flawlessly, like BC3. Mura took the glitch, the Ultra 2-for-2, and he had a break. And Frozen, of course, playing that midfield role. I mean, we got a meme going on. We've got the runners and we got the midfielder. It's kind of a soccer term, but yeah, you know, Frozen was doing a lot of the dirty work in the pack, and I got to commend Frozen for that. You know, a very well-rounded player. He was up there and running in certain races. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the cast. We'll see what we can do in terms of casting for the rest of the day. And yeah, thank you guys so much for coming out. On behalf of Mario Kart Boards, I'm Jaggy.
And I'm Zexous.
We will see you guys on the flip side.